several days. We've talked about courtroom issues. We've talked about the putting the facts together in the courtroom, the burden of proof, whether we have preponderance of the evidence burden in a traditional, typical civil case, which is greater than 51%. We've talked about clear and convincing evidence, which is utilized in civil cases where there is termination of life support or termination of parental rights. And we talked about beyond a reasonable doubt. The clear and convincing evidence is 70 to 80%. Beyond a reasonable doubt is greater than 90%, and we see that utilized in criminal proceedings. We are going to look now as a visual demonstration. With your permission, we will use a deck of cards. And I also have a can of select peas. And if I may, I am going to hand the can of select peas. May I hand you the can along with a can opener? And we'll wait to bring those together. However, you will note that that can is hermetically sealed. Is that correct? It is a sealed can of select peas. A deck of cards. We'll remove the jokers, shuffling the deck. So that hopefully these cards are randomized, like a double-blind placebo-controlled study, and hopefully these cards are as mixed up as I am. We will shuffle them again, and I am going to ask, if I may I have you just say stop at any time? Stop. Very good. I'm going to have you please remove the card at which you stop me. I don't want to see it. I'm going to have you remove it. You could have selected any card. That was the one you selected randomly. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. I'm going to have you, if you will, I will have you hold that card up so everyone in the room can see the card. I will now look. And this is, remember we discussed, you take your plaintiff as you find him or her, individuals. We hope not to commit wrong or to commit a tortious act. We hope not to commit a negligent act. However, we have to take our plaintiffs as we find them, and if we commit an act against the individual, he or she then may have an action against us. I will borrow the card from you, and without looking at it, I will attempt, through the touch of fingertip, feeling for heat, and any impressions on the card, to tell you, yes, the card is red, because I'm reading what it's saying. The card is a red card. It is a heart. I can feel the pips, and I feel for the numbers, and it feels to be a 7 of hearts. How did we do? Okay, very good. Thank you. Now, patient presents to us, and the patient claims that the patient has been injured. And I want you to know this hurts me to do this. What happens, patient feels his life has been torn, or her life has been torn in half. Families are typically involved as well. It disrupts their lives. Now, many patients will simply go home and not say anything. I'm placing the cards in pieces, the card pieces. The card is in pieces. I'm placing the card pieces into the box so that you can see the pieces are placed here into the box, still torn into parts. This is our plaintiff. This is the individual who is complaining that he or she has been wronged. And because we're talking about medical jurisprudence and medical ethics, we close the box and seal it, and we place it here. The patient goes to a plaintiff's attorney. Remember, we're talking about the complainant, who is the plaintiff, hires an attorney, and the attorney then contacts the individual who is now the defendant. And the purpose now of this legal action is to make the patient, the individual, whole again. Is that right? Isn't that what we discussed? Let's look inside the box and let's see what we find. My gosh, what's left in the box? One small corner is all. Because this is how the patient, the individual who's been wronged, feels. He or she feels that his or her life has been torn apart, and they are merely a small piece of who they used to be. So our goal is to try to make them whole, and that's what we're talking about in medical jurisprudence. May I hand you the corner of your card? May I ask you now, please, if you will, to take the can opener, and I may help you here a minute because it's locked right here. Brand new, I just purchased this at the store. There we go. And I'm going to ask you, if you will, and please be careful, I don't want you to get cut on that can. But if you will, do you know how to use the can opener? Are you familiar with it? Okay. Because you may want to hold the can underneath just to support it. And then I'll have you lock it onto there. There we go. The seal has been broken. And then if you'll turn it, yes, is it open? Aha, the plot thickens. It's locked. Yes, you just push that back and and please, you're doing great. It's not easy. Can I help you a minute? It's okay. I don't want you embarrassed in the least because you're doing great. Let's try this. You know what I'll do? I'll come on the other side, but you can testify that I am not engaged in any nefarious activity with this can. We are just, no, it is not you. It is the can opener. I knew I should have bought the more expensive one. There we go. This could be a product liability case, but be that as it may. Okay, we're just about there. It's kind of opened. Yeah. I will step away. Now, please be very careful. I'm going to have you open that and tell us what you find inside.
The rest of the card.
Whoa! Have we made the plaintiff whole? Please remove the card. Now I'm going to ask you, please, to take that corner and tell me if, in fact, you may lay that down, if that is the exact corner that we tore from that card. Is that an exact match?
Yes.
Thank you. A round of applause for both of you. And that is the goal. That's what law is about, is hopefully to make the individual whole again. That is our purpose. Now, another role is to help bring things back to their previous state, to make things whole again. We have a detergent box to help explain this. You will notice I have here several silks. I have 2 red silks that I will tie together. So we've tied the silks together. And now I'm going to ask, if I may I ask you to hold your hands out for me, please? We're going to place the silks into your hand, and I'm just going to have you close your hands. Perfect. So the 2 silks are there. I cannot get into the knot where they're tied together, can I? Because you're keeping them safe. Very good. 3 silks. These silks help to represent what can happen. Individuals can claim they've been injured, their reputation sullied. Hence, we talked about defamation. Individuals can claim that a medication caused them to feel their life is disrupted, or a surgery. And remember, we talked about inappropriate congress with patients. We open the detergent box. Into the box, and we think of this as the law. Its role is to help make things right. The purpose of the law is not to harm people. Instead, it's to help people. That is the purpose. Lawyers are there to represent us and to help make us whole again. We put in the 3 silks. Because this is a detergent box, I'm going to add in fabric softener as well. The fabric softener goes into the box. We shake the box to and fro, gathering moisture from the air. Actually, what we're doing is we're gathering evidence. We're filing motions. We are bringing about depositions. We are sending out subpoenas. We are sending out interrogatories. And now, hopefully, through this process, we open the box. The first silk is now cleaned. The law has brought about an appropriate result. The second silk has been cleaned. Another individual made whole. And the third silk is cleaned. And now you're asking, what happened to the fabric softener? And in fact, the reality is there is absolutely nothing left, because the law is pure and works effectively. In your hands, you've been holding those two silks together the entire time. In a moment, I will count to 3. When I reach the number 3, I'm going to ask you, please, to open your hands, not before. 1, 2, 3. And you see the fabric softener comes back because the law works every time. Thank you. I will see you all tomorrow. 11:10.